So, Tyler,
Lisa.
how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm definitely not drunk enough yet.
Okay. Do you need to work on that while we're talking?
That's it. But don't let me stop you if you have something going.
Okay. Well, this is equally important. So, this is to celebrate your 100th article.
100
100.
that I
So,
myself have written. We've got a lot of other articles. I think we've got a total of 100 and almost 150 from our other authors. But yeah, this is the 100th I've written over the last like 2 years.
is that how long the Horribly Hooch has been going?
Yeah, it's only really seriously been going for like 6 months. Um, Before it was just like this drunken thing that I would occasionally string some words together in a mildly intelligible fashion when I was extremely hammered. I mean, if you read some of the early reviews, it's bad. I wouldn't even call it like literature or fiction. I don't know what I would call it. Terrible. I would call it terrible, probably.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, then I started making the right choices and like looking more at independent horror, people who actually gave a shit about my reviews, and that started getting us a lot more popularity. Back with, I guess Rabid Love was probably the big one. And that was only a couple months ago.
Now, you said you had other authors. Who are they?
We've got Demon Sweat, or Sweaty. Um,
Sweaty.
I'm not going to mention her real name, but you met her at the con.
I enjoy Sweaty. She's my wife.
Yes, your horror wife.
She's my horror wife.
If you say that too fast, it sounds like horror wife.
I have a habit of making that sound. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You have a habit of making horror wives?
I have a habit of making horror sound like horror.
Ah,
Or I think I just did it.
you just did it, actually. You said horror sound like horror.
Whatever. So Sweaty. Does she really go
Oh,
by that?
There you go, trying to flip it around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, she wants to go by Sweaty. I'll
That's
refrain
cool.
from mentioning her real name until she gives me approval to do so. But I guess it's been her handle for like gaming and stuff like that for a long time. She signed on, I'd say, at the beginning of this year, so like 5 months ago.
Okay.
And she focuses on our Asian horror, which is, thank God, because I don't think I can handle that shit too much. And then I got my good friend Glenn, who goes by /fuck, which is his stage name. No, I wish I were joking. I'm not.
I think it's fabulous. What does that mean, his stage name?
I don't know if it was meant to be /fuck or /fuque, because he spells it Phuque. I'm sure he'll send me an angry or a strongly worded comment after this, but he's an actor, and he actually worked with my dad a long time ago, and they were roommates and shit. And so when my dad heard I was doing this thing, he sent his friend my way. And that was only about 4 or 5 months ago as well, because it took me a long time to warm up to the idea of actually showing my parents what horrible thing I was doing on the internet. And I had to convince them all I wasn't just like a torrential alcoholic, just like, all this here was, part of the character.
Is just set dressing, all
Set
those?
dressing.
You just dumped it all in the sink, right?
What's that?
You dumped it all in the sink. You didn't drink it.
Of course, no, yeah. And that it took us like, what's a long time to consume that much alcohol? Like a month?
No. No, let's pretend that took you guys a year.
A year?
Yeah, I don't
More
know.
people drink like?
I'm starting to feel like people who write actually do drink too much.
Probably.
I think there's something that stereotype. That's why stereotypes are stereotypes.
Well, there's that one, and then I'm also trained as a chef, and they say that every good chef is either an alcoholic or gay. And I'm not a big fan of penises, so...
I've never heard that.
Never heard that?
No.
I don't think I made that up. I think someone else has said something like, whatever. So, yeah, that, and then there's, writing and drinking. I mean, shit. Hemingway, Write Drunk, Get It Sober. I know Bernard Shaw was a fucking lush. Bukowski, Ginsburg. Well, Ginsburg was more of a drug addict. Anyway.
Potato, potato. So this just happened one night. You're sitting around, maybe you're drinking too much, and you think, hey,
Right.
everybody should hear my opinion when I'm drunk.
Well, that was already the situation. Everybody already heard my opinions when I was drunk. The difference was I just wasn't keeping track of it. And it was, it was 2.5 years ago. I was sitting with my roommate, Brandon, at the time. And our go-to was, because we worked so much and didn't really have a whole lot of friends in the area, was to stay in, watch horror movies, and drink. It's also cheaper than going to the bar because, we'd be racking up $250, $300 tabs, and that's a lot worse than, say, $20 and a handle of vodka or some shit. So we were scrolling through one of our digital on-demand rental service things through the Xbox, and we got to page 150 of the horror movies, which is like 1,500 deep. And we realized we'd seen like 90% of them. And I turned to him and I was like, dude, we should write this shit down, because there's got to be something that comes out of this drunken debauchery, something either profitable or useful to someone else. And then the other thought I had was, whenever I'm looking at movies, I want to know a couple of things. I want to know what the tits to gore ratio is. So there has to be a good balance of nudity and blood. Like, is it fun? Is it something I'll enjoy drinking? Or is it more of like a serious kind of, like, they don't really have classifications for those in the standard, like, IMDb list or some shit. Yeah. So I figured, we could do that.
I like that. So you're kind of the IMDb of, I don't know, this is a 3-beer movie, or?
We had, it failed miserably. We had like a system starting out that was like, this is how many drinks, or like a rating of 1 to 10 beers, or then it was like, we recommend taking 6 shots to view this movie. The first thing we realized is that most people would die if they consumed like we did, and so our recommendation system was a little bit off. And the second thing was that, as hokey and ridiculous as we are, even that was a bit too much. Like, it was just so cheesy. I even sketched out like with beer bottles like halfway full for like 6.5 beers, and so we dropped all that. But the idea is, it's basically like IMDb for bachelors.
Okay.
I mean, bachelorettes too, but I mean, not your average female viewer is concerned about how much full frontal nudity there is.
I don't know that we're concerned, but maybe there's some ladies who would like to know so they could avoid it. There's those ladies.
Well, we are useful for that as well.
See? It goes both ways.
And we can talk about like male nudity, if there's some cock and balls for people who are into that.
Something for everybody.
Something for everybody. It's just a grab bag. Well, that'd be kind of nasty.
I know.
The worst grab bag ever. That's just, what is it? Oh. Like when you go to the haunted houses and they have like the peeled grapes, except it's cock stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Well, yeah, all right.
We'll go down that road.
So, where was I go? Oh, so I read, I like your reviews because you do talk about whether or not there's nudity and if it's good or bad, and I think that that's really fun and something that everybody cares about, actually. Because if you watch horror, you almost expect there to be boobs.
But there's not. There's just not as much anymore. I mean, about a decade ago, maybe. Well, 2 decades ago. 90s were great for tits and horror movies, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep it succinct and to the point, too. I mean, Slash is a bit verbose when it comes to his reviews. I think the last one clocked in with like 40+ images and like over 3,000 words. But the man is thorough, and we need a little bit of that because we're fucking not. I'm like, if I can get 700 words, I'm lucky. But as long as they're funny and they kind of go together well, it works. Sorry. So, Yeah, that's our angle.
Okay. So have you had a really good, have you been received well as far as being people who watch movies inebriated? Has
Um,
anybody been offended by that?
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Especially because if we don't like a movie or if I don't like a movie, I don't hesitate to inform everyone immediately and with no uncertain terms. Um, so I've pissed off a couple of directors and writers, and I totally get that it's a dick move to just be like, whoever wrote this needs to jam that pen into their eye and never approach a keyboard again or something like that because I was so pissed off that I had to sit through it. But beyond those guys, I mean, we've met some really amazing people, like collaborators, directors, writers, actors, actresses across the board. People who just fucking appreciate that we appreciate horror, and our angles kind of changed from just a review blog to like supporting indie horror. Making sure people can get out there and uh, approach a project without trepidation. So we're much nicer to the $5, $10, $20,000 budget films than we are to your AAA 25 million hunks of garbage that come in every other week. Like Due Date or some piece of shit, or Devil's Due.
Oh,
Due
yeah,
Date was
Devil's,
actually good.
it was Devil's
Devil's
Due.
Due. That was terrible.
It wasn't great.
No.
No, we have the same philosophy. We have a very specific dollar amount, and if it's over that, then we can say any nasty thing we might want to.
Yeah.
But if it's under that, you're kind of killing their dream.
And it doesn't help anybody to shit on something that is obviously not going to be as good because they just can't afford it to be.
Well, yeah, and if they love it, then who are we to say anything?
Yeah.
So, well, I don't, there was a movie that you and I both saw, and I read your review on it, and I thought you were a lot nicer than I thought you were going to be. So you're
Oh,
not
exactly.
always 100%, what's the word?
Honest.
Yeah, but more than that, because honestly, it's a really fine line between being honest and just being shady, I guess.
Do you think I was being shady? Are you accusing me of shadiness? Turning this bitch around, huh? Happy 100, you shady son of a bitch. You shyster. No.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Starts with a D.
I don't even remember the name.
Oh, I'll never forget it.
I remember the movie. I remember the movie.
Well, there was that one. There was the one that we saw the day after. I couldn't even write the review on that one.
Well, I couldn't even sit through the whole thing.
I know, you left like halfway through. That was terrible.
So where do you guys hope to be, in the future? What do you hope to do with this?
Where do I see myself in 10 years? Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. It's a Family Guy reference. Well, honestly, I just want to kick ass when it comes to horror. Fiction, music, film, every fucking medium. And I want us to be known as supporters and promoters of indie horror. I want us to be a regular name, and then I want us to start making movies. I mean, fucking sky's the limit. Like very clearly, my strong suit is not writing just reviews. I want to explore other options. I want to get out there and become a force on the market.